In Hollywood's darkest corners, rumors whisper about stars who rose too fast, shined too bright, and carried a mystery no one could explain. For decades, fans have created legends about celebrities who supposedly made secret deals for fame, trading fear for power, and turning their success into eerie stories that refuse to fade. These tales never claim truth. They survive because people love the thrill of the unknown. From classic horror icons to myth-covered performers, their careers became linked with forbidden rituals only in public imagination. Bela Lugosi's Dracula image sparked stories that he drew real strength from the role. Max Schreck's strange performance in Nosferatu made viewers believe he was more creature than actor. Aleister Crowley's shadow influenced countless rumors as occult fans connected him to modern stars. Vincent Price's chilling presence turned his success into endless supernatural theories. Christopher Lee's deep voice and Gothic legacy inspired myths of ancient knowledge. Boris Karloff's monster roles fueled folklore that he embraced dark secrets behind the camera. These legends are not reality. They are the myths audiences created to make Hollywood feel mystical, dangerous, and unforgettable. Actor 1. Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi became one of Hollywood's most mysterious icons, not only because of his unforgettable role as Dracula, but because audiences could never separate the man from the myth. When he stepped onto the screen in 1931 with his hypnotic stare, controlled voice, and elegant darkness, people felt as if he carried a power no ordinary actor could possess. As his fame grew, so did the stories. Fans imagined he had tapped into forbidden secrets to achieve a performance so convincing that it felt supernatural. In reality, Lugosi was a dedicated performer shaped by years of stage work, but the public preferred to believe he drew strength from something hidden and ancient. His sharp presence, slow movements, and haunting silence inspired countless rumors that he had crossed a boundary between acting and something far darker. Every gesture fed speculation that he understood the world of shadows better than anyone else in Hollywood. As horror films expanded, Lugosi's name became a symbol of eerie mystique. People claimed his connection to the role was too deep, as if the character followed him beyond the camera. Directors noticed how even during rehearsals, he carried an intensity that felt larger than performance, and audiences turned this intensity into legends. Some whispered he had sacrificed normal life to protect his legacy, choosing fame at a price only the imagination could define. Even after his career faded, the myths continued, painting him as a figure bound to the Gothic world he helped create. But behind every rumor was simply an actor committed to transforming fear into art. Bela Lugosi did not need forbidden rituals. The power of his craft was enough to make Hollywood believe he was touched by something unreal. Actor 2. Max Schreck. Max Schreck became one of the strangest legends in film history, not because of public scandals or personal mysteries, but because of a single performance that felt too real for audiences to ignore. When he appeared as Count Orlok in the 1922 silent classic Nosferatu, viewers were stunned by his unsettling presence, sharp movements, and eerie stillness that made him look more creature than actor. His appearance was so convincing that people refused to believe it came from makeup and skill alone. Fans began building myths that he had tapped into forbidden knowledge to achieve such realism, turning his performance into one of cinema's most enduring supernatural legends. In truth, Schreck was a disciplined German stage actor known for intense dedication, but the public preferred stories that placed him somewhere between reality and nightmare. As the film gained a cult following, the rumors grew stronger. Audiences claimed he never broke character, even off-set, adding fuel to the belief that he lived in the shadows to maintain his terrifying image. Directors remembered him as quiet and focused, which people later transformed into tales of secret rituals and hidden darkness. The mystery deepened because so little was known about his personal life, creating space for speculation to replace facts. Over time, Max Schreck became a symbol of the boundary between art and myth, a figure whose performance felt like a doorway into a haunted world. But behind every story was simply an actor who pushed himself to extremes to create something unforgettable. Schreck did not need forbidden powers. His commitment to craft was enough to make audiences believe he stepped out of a nightmare and onto the screen. Actor 3. Boris Karloff. Boris Karloff became one of Hollywood's most recognizable figures of fear, not because he lived a dark life, but because his performances were so powerful that audiences believed he carried secrets no one else understood. When he stepped into the role of Frankenstein's monster in 1931, his heavy steps, hollow eyes, and haunting silence created an image that felt unnervingly real. Viewers could not imagine how a single actor could transform into something so tragic and terrifying at the same time. Soon, myths formed around him, suggesting he had tapped into hidden knowledge to bring such an unnatural creature to life. In truth, Karloff was gentle, disciplined, and devoted to his craft, but fans preferred stories that made him seem tied to forbidden worlds. As his career expanded, every monster he portrayed added new fuel to the legends. His ability to control emotion with the smallest movements made people whisper that he understood the darker corners of the human mind. Crew members remembered his quiet focus on set, which later turned into rumors that he performed strange preparations before filming. His calm personality contrasted so sharply with his horrific roles that audiences believed he carried a mysterious duality, living between shadows and reality. Classic posters and dramatic publicity campaigns amplified the myth, painting Karloff as a figure touched by supernatural influence. Over the decades, the legends only grew stronger. People claimed the monster followed him beyond the screen, shaping his presence in ways that felt eerie and unforgettable. But behind every rumor was simply a hard-working actor who transformed fear into art. Boris Karloff did not rely on forbidden rituals. His talent alone made Hollywood believe he had crossed into a realm where performance and legend blended into one haunting legacy. Actor 4. Lon Chaney Sr. Lon Chaney Sr. became one of Hollywood's earliest masters of mystery, earning the title the Man of 1,000 Faces for his extraordinary ability to transform into characters that looked nothing like the man behind the makeup. Audiences in the silent film era were stunned by the intensity of his roles in The Phantom of the Opera and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, where his haunting appearances felt almost superhuman. Because he created all his makeup himself and kept his methods secret, people began imagining he possessed knowledge that went beyond ordinary technique. Fans whispered that his transformations were too real, too painful, and too extreme to come only from skill. In truth, Chaney used discipline, creativity, and relentless commitment, but myths grew faster than facts. Directors recalled his quiet preparation before filming, which the public later twisted into stories of hidden rituals and strange practices. His willingness to endure discomfort for a character, binding limbs, altering posture, and reshaping his face with wires, fed rumors that he pushed into dangerous territory to achieve the impossible. Viewers believed he carried a private darkness, a power that allowed him to vanish into roles with an intensity no other actor could match. His silence about his personal life only strengthened the legends. Because Chaney rarely gave interviews and kept his family matters private, fans filled the gaps with imagination, turning him into a near-mythical figure. Actor 5. Vincent Price. Vincent Price became one of Hollywood's most iconic voices of horror, a performer whose elegant presence and chilling tone created legends that followed him far beyond the screen. With his smooth delivery, precise movements, and unmistakable charm, he transformed every scene into something mysterious and unsettling. When audiences saw him in classics like House of Wax and The Pit and the Pendulum, they felt he carried an understanding of darkness that no ordinary actor possessed. His performances were so controlled, so haunting, and so deliberate that people began crafting myths around him. Fans imagined he had access to forgotten secrets, believing no one could portray fear with such ease without drawing from something deeper. In reality, Price was a cultured, witty, and educated man with a love for art and literature, but the public preferred the chilling legends built around his screen persona. Publicity posters often highlighted his eerie expressions, adding fuel to the belief that he held a special link to the horror world. Directors recalled how he stayed calm, focused, and analytical on set, which the public later turned into tales of strange habits and forbidden rituals. His ability to shift from refined politeness to unsettling menace in a single breath created an aura of duality that audiences interpreted as something supernatural. Price frequently played characters who spoke of ancient powers, curses, and sinister knowledge, and viewers blended those roles with reality, building stories that made him seem like a guardian of Gothic mysteries. Actor 6. Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee became one of cinema's most commanding figures, a performer whose towering presence, deep voice, and intense gaze turned him into a legend long before audiences knew the real man behind the characters. When he appeared as Dracula for the first time, viewers were stunned by how naturally he embodied the role. His sharp movements, quiet control, and powerful aura made people believe he carried knowledge beyond ordinary acting. Rumors grew quickly, claiming he had stepped into forbidden realms to deliver performances too convincing to be purely theatrical. In truth, Lee was disciplined, intelligent, and deeply committed to preparation, but the public preferred the myths that surrounded his Gothic image. His long association with horror films, especially those produced by Hammer Studios, added layers to the legends. Fans imagined he understood ancient mysteries because he played characters who spoke of lost worlds, dark powers, and timeless secrets. Directors admired his focus and professionalism, but the stories twisted this dedication into tales of strange rituals and hidden practices. His measured speaking style and commanding presence made him seem like someone who walked between history and myth, fueling the belief that he possessed insight into shadows no one else could see. Actor 7. Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing became one of classic cinema's most respected and quietly mysterious figures, known for his calm intensity and precise performances that made audiences believe he understood the hidden corners of every character he played. Whether he appeared as the relentless vampire hunter Van Helsing or the cold, calculating scientist in countless horror films, Cushing carried a stillness that felt almost otherworldly. Viewers admired how he controlled every gesture, every pause, and every expression with such accuracy that it created an aura of deeper knowledge. As his roles grew darker and more complex, fans began building myths around him, imagining he had tapped into forbidden ideas to portray fear and power with such effortless clarity. In reality, he was a gentle, thoughtful, and disciplined actor whose work ethic shaped his performances, but audiences preferred stories that made him seem connected to unseen forces. His partnership with Christopher Lee strengthened these legends, as the two appeared together in many Gothic films where Cushing embodied intelligence and hidden strength. Directors remembered his focus during rehearsals, his commitment to detail, and his ability to elevate even simple scenes into moments filled with tension. Rumors twisted this dedication into tales of unusual preparation or secret rituals, claiming he carried a deeper understanding of the worlds his characters inhabited. His sharp features, calm voice, and ability to shift from warmth to menace in seconds added fuel to the myth that he walked between logic and the unknown. Actor 8. Ingrid Pitt. Ingrid Pitt became one of horror cinema's most enchanting and mysterious stars, known for her striking beauty, commanding presence, and ability to captivate audiences with both elegance and danger. Her roles in films like The Vampire Lovers and Countess Dracula created an image that seemed both seductive and otherworldly, leading fans to imagine she possessed knowledge of forbidden worlds beyond the screen. Audiences felt her performances carried a magnetic power, a presence that could not be explained by talent alone. Rumors grew, claiming that her connection to the dark and Gothic characters she portrayed stemmed from secret, mystical practices. In truth, Pitt was disciplined, intelligent, and deeply committed to understanding her roles, but the public preferred to create myths that heightened her mystique. Her ability to fully embody characters of both power and vulnerability added layers to the legends. Directors admired her professionalism and focus, which fans later twisted into stories of unusual preparation or hidden rituals. Her calm, confident demeanor off-screen, contrasted with the intensity of her roles, fueled speculation that she had tapped into ancient knowledge or secret methods to achieve her striking performances. Fans imagined she could channel a darkness that went beyond acting, walking the line between the ordinary and the supernatural. Actor 9. Max von Sydow. Max von Sydow became one of cinema's most imposing and enigmatic figures, known for his towering presence, intense gaze, and ability to convey profound emotion with minimal words. From his unforgettable role in The Exorcist to his collaborations with Ingmar Bergman, von Sydow's performances often carried an aura of mystery and quiet power that left audiences questioning how one actor could embody such depth. Fans began imagining that his talent was fueled by secret knowledge or forbidden practices, believing that his connection to the dark and the uncanny was more than just skill. In truth, von Sydow was a disciplined, thoughtful, and highly trained actor, but the legends that surrounded him grew because audiences preferred a story of the mystical rather than the mundane. His meticulous approach to character development added fuel to the myths. Directors and co-stars often remarked on his intense focus, ability to stay completely in character, and the profound seriousness with which he approached every scene. These traits, when combined with his tall frame and deep voice, made viewers interpret him as someone who could bridge the ordinary and the supernatural. Rumors suggested that he carried insights into hidden realms, but in reality, it was his craft, his understanding of human psychology, and his mastery of timing and presence that created the effect. Over the decades, Max von Sydow became a symbol of cinematic gravitas and eerie elegance. Audiences projected onto him ideas of power, secrecy, and ancient knowledge, linking his roles to myths of forbidden wisdom. Yet behind every story was a man devoted to his art, studying every role with precision, patience, and intelligence. Max von Sydow needed no occult rituals. His dedication, skill, and natural authority on screen were enough to make Hollywood believe he inhabited realms beyond ordinary understanding. Actor 10. Boris Karloff Jr. Boris Karloff Jr., though less known than his father, became part of Hollywood's mystique through the stories and legends that grew around his family name. Audiences connected him to the gothic and horror legacy of his father, imagining that he inherited not only talent, but also a mysterious knowledge of the dark arts. Rumors claimed he was drawn to forbidden practices to carry on the legacy of horror cinema. But in truth, these tales were fueled by imagination, not fact. His performances, though fewer in number, carried a shadowed elegance reminiscent of classic horror, and fans projected myths onto him, as if he were a bridge between reality and the supernatural. Every scene he inhabited seemed charged with tension and hidden meaning, creating the impression that he carried secrets no ordinary actor could possess. Behind the rumors, he was a disciplined performer, committed to studying the craft and honoring the cinematic heritage of his family. Directors admired his ability to control emotion and presence, and audiences interpreted his quiet intensity as evidence of hidden power. Stories of rituals and secret knowledge grew from his mysterious public persona and the shadow of his father's fame, blending reality with folklore. His calm demeanor, coupled with his occasional portrayals of macabre or intense characters, added fuel to the myths, making him seem part of Hollywood's secretive, mystical underworld. Despite every legend, Boris Karloff Jr. relied on dedication, focus, and skill. He did not need forbidden rituals to captivate audiences. The myths surrounding him existed because viewers loved the idea of a hidden world behind the glamorous, eerie facade of classic horror cinema. His craft alone was enough to make Hollywood believe he carried an intangible, unforgettable power that connected the past, present, and the timeless allure of cinematic legend.